Jackson and Lyra's decision to unite their lives filled the Solari community with excitement. Preparations began immediately for their official ceremony, which would be a joyful event celebrated by everyone. Jackson felt happier than he had ever imagined possible. Each day leading up to the ceremony was busy. Friends and neighbors visited regularly, offering congratulations and helping with the preparations. Zane and Mia, Jackson's closest friends, took special roles in arranging the celebration. Their support meant a lot to Jackson. Despite the happy chaos, Jackson and Lyra found quiet moments together. They often walked near the lake, talking about their future and dreams. During these times, Jackson felt completely at peace, knowing Lyra understood him deeply. One afternoon, Elder Mira called Jackson and Lyra to her home. When they arrived, Myra greeted them warmly, her eyes bright with happiness. "My dear friends," she began gently, "the Solari tradition includes a special custom. Before the ceremony, the couple visits the ancient cave of wisdom." Jackson felt curious. "What happens in this cave?" Myra smiled reassuringly. "It is a place of reflection. You will see visions of possible futures. It helps guide you in your life together." Jackson and Lyra exchanged glances, both feeling intrigued. They agreed to visit the cave the following morning. Early the next day, guided by Elder Mira, they walked through a beautiful forest until reaching a rocky hill. Hidden within the hill was the entrance to a cave. Myra gently placed her hands on their shoulders, smiling warmly. "Enter together and trust what you see." Jackson took Lyra's hand, and together they stepped inside the cave. It was dimly lit, with walls covered in sparkling crystals. They walked deeper until reaching a calm, quiet chamber. Jackson felt peaceful yet excited. Suddenly, a gentle light filled the chamber, surrounding them softly. Visions began appearing clearly, like living dreams. Jackson saw images of their life together, moments of joy, challenges they faced side by side, and the deep bond growing stronger with each experience. Lyra squeezed Jackson's hand gently. "Do you see it, Jackson? Our future together?" Jackson smiled warmly. "Yes, I see it clearly. No matter what comes, we'll always be strong together." The vision slowly faded, leaving them standing quietly, filled with hope and certainty. Jackson felt deeply moved by the experience. They exited the cave together, finding Elder Mira waiting patiently. "Did you see your path clearly?" Myra asked gently. Lyra nodded confidently. "We did. We understand our journey together." Myra smiled happily. "You are ready then. The Solaris celebrate you both." Returning home, Jackson felt a deep sense of peace. He spent the remaining days leading up to the ceremony helping finalize arrangements, enjoying every moment. On the day of the ceremony, excitement filled the air. The entire Solari community gathered, dressed in vibrant clothes. Flowers decorated every corner, and music played joyfully. Jackson felt nervous but excited. As he waited, Zane stood beside him, offering calming words and a supportive presence. "You're ready, Jackson. This is your moment," Zane said. ENCOURAGINGLY. Jackson nodded, grateful for his friend's reassurance. Finally, Lyra appeared, and Jackson's breath caught in his throat. She looked radiant, her eyes shining with happiness. They stood facing each other, surrounded by smiling faces. Elder Eric stepped forward, speaking clearly and warmly. "Today we join two hearts and lives in unity. Jackson and Lyra, your love has inspired us all. Do you promise to support each other, face life's challenges together, and cherish your bond always?" Jackson spoke firmly, his voice filled with emotion. "I promise." Lyra smiled lovingly, her voice gentle yet strong. "I promise." The Solari cheered joyfully, applauding the couple warmly. Eric continued, "Then, in the eyes of our community and under these stars, your bond is sealed." Jackson and Lyra gently pressed their foreheads together, feeling a deep connection and love that united them completely. Happiness filled Jackson's heart, knowing he had found his true home in love. the celebration continued late into the night. Friends congratulated them warmly, laughter and joy filling the air. Jackson danced happily with Lyra, Mia, Zane, and other Solari friends, enjoying every moment. Later, when the celebration quieted, Jackson and Lyra stood together beneath the stars. "This day was perfect," Jackson said softly, looking deeply into her eyes. Lyra smiled warmly, her eyes bright. "Every day with you is perfect, Jackson." They walked slowly back home, hand in hand, feeling incredibly happy and complete. In the following days, life settled into a peaceful routine. Jackson continued to help the Solari community, now truly feeling like a member of their family. Lyra worked beside him, always supportive and loving. One peaceful evening, as they sat quietly by the lake, Lyra gently touched Jackson's face. "Jackson, our journey is just beginning. I can't wait to share every moment with you." Jackson smiled softly, his heart full of love. "I feel the same, Lyra. Whatever life brings, I'm ready because we're together." They watched the sunset quietly, savoring the peaceful moment and their deep bond. Jackson knew their life would have challenges, but they would face each one together. That night, as he drifted to sleep beside Lyra, Jackson felt deeply thankful. Life had brought him to Ziller unexpectedly, but it was the best thing that ever happened to him. He had found true happiness, a loving community, and a partner who completed his heart. Together, they would build a future full of hope and joy. Life slowly returned to normal after the attack. The Solari community repaired their homes and defenses, working together to rebuild what had been damaged. Jackson was busy each day, helping with repairs and offering his knowledge to strengthen their settlement further. His bond with Lyra deepened, each day bringing them closer. One bright morning, Elder Eric summoned Jackson to an important meeting. Jackson arrived promptly, curious about what awaited him. Lyra was already there, along with Zane, Mia, and other important community members. Elder Eric stood calmly, his voice clear and authoritative. "Jackson, we owe you much gratitude for your bravery. However, we must discuss our future security. Our enemies might return. We must strengthen our alliances and defenses." Jackson listened carefully, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I agree, Elder Eric. How can I help?" Eric looked thoughtfully at Jackson. "We must build stronger relationships with nearby settlements. Jackson, your bravery and your human perspective could help us greatly. Will you help lead a mission to reach out and strengthen alliances?" Jackson felt honored but also nervous. He looked at Lyra, who nodded encouragingly. "Yes, Elder Eric. I will do my best." Preparations began. Immediately, Jackson carefully selected his team, including Zane, Mia, and Lyra. Each member brought valuable skills, making them a strong and capable group. The journey started early the next day. Jackson led the team away from their familiar home, traveling through new territories filled with unfamiliar creatures and plants. Though beautiful, the journey was also challenging. One night, they made camp near a peaceful stream. Lyra sat next to Jackson, her presence comforting. "You are a good leader, Jackson," she said warmly. "I see the trust everyone has in you." Jackson smiled gratefully. "I couldn't do it without your support, Lyra. You give me confidence." Their moment was interrupted by Mia, who approached with an urgent expression. "Jackson, we have visitors." Jackson quickly stood, alert and ready. Several aliens cautiously approached, their leader raising a hand in greeting. "We come in peace," he announced clearly. "I am Joran, from the nearby settlement of Kohler." Jackson stepped forward, welcoming him warmly. "I am Jackson, and these are my companions. We seek friendship and unity." Joran nodded, visibly relaxing. "We seek the same. Our settlement faces similar threats. Perhaps we can help each other." Jackson invited Joran and his team to join their camp. Together, they shared food and stories, quickly building mutual trust and respect. Lyra skillfully explained their mission. emphasizing the importance of unity against shared threats. Joran listened carefully, nodding thoughtfully. "We have heard of your bravery during the recent attack. Your reputation as strong and honorable allies is growing. Kohler would be proud to stand with the Solari." Jackson felt relief and pride at Joran's words. They had successfully begun building an important alliance. Joran promised to introduce them to other settlements, helping expand their network of friends. Days passed quickly as they traveled to meet various alien communities. Jackson's confidence grew with each successful encounter. Everywhere they went, they were welcomed warmly, their message of unity and cooperation eagerly accepted. One evening, after another successful meeting, Lyra approached Jackson by the campfire. "You have done something remarkable," she said gently. "You've created hope and unity." Jackson shook his head modestly. "I couldn't have done this without you and the others." "We've done it together," Lyra smiled softly, touching his hand. "But your bravery and leadership inspire us all. You bring out the best in people." Jackson felt his heart warm. "Your belief in me has made all the difference, Lyra." Their journey eventually brought them home to Ziller, where the Solari welcomed them back joyfully. Elder Eric greeted Jackson with pride, clearly pleased by their achievements. "Jackson, your mission has strengthened our future," Eric announced. Warmly, "Thanks to you and your team's efforts, we have many new allies." Jackson humbly accepted Eric's praise. "It was an honor to serve our community." That night, the Solari held a celebration honoring Jackson and his team. Joyful laughter, music, and dancing filled the air. Jackson felt truly at home, surrounded by friends who deeply valued him. Later in the evening, Lyra and Jackson walked away from the busy celebration, finding a quiet spot beneath the stars. They sat quietly, enjoying each other's company and the peaceful night. Lyra turned to Jackson, her voice soft and sincere. "Jackson, this journey made me realize even more how important you are to me." Jackson gently squeezed her hand. "You mean?" "Everything to me, Lyra." Lyra smiled gently, leaning closer to him. "Jackson, among the Solari, we have a tradition. When we find someone who makes our hearts complete, we choose them as our life partner." Jackson felt his heartbeat quicken. "Lyra, are you saying?" Lyra nodded, her eyes full of warmth and love. "Yes, Jackson. I choose you. I want us to be partners, facing life's journey together." Jackson's face lit up with happiness. "Lyra, nothing would make me happier. I choose you too." Their eyes met, a deep understanding passing between them. Lyra gently leaned forward, placing her forehead softly against his, a Solari sign of deep love and commitment. Jackson closed his eyes, savoring the moment. When they returned to the celebration, everyone quickly sensed the joy radiating from the couple. Cheers erupted as the Solari realized their bond had become official. Elder Eric approached, his eyes filled with genuine happiness. "Congratulations to both of you. Your union strengthens our entire community." Jackson felt deeply grateful, his heart filled with happiness. He knew his future with Lyra would bring challenges, but together they could face anything. That night, Jackson slept peacefully, his dreams filled with visions of a future alongside Lyra. He had found his true home, a place where he was deeply valued and loved. Life on Ziller had begun as an accident, but it had become his destiny, bringing him the greatest happiness he had ever known. Life settled into a comfortable routine for Jackson. He enjoyed every moment spent with Lyra and his new friends among the Solari. Each day brought new discoveries, and Jackson found happiness and purpose he had never experienced before. One peaceful morning, everything changed. An urgent meeting was called by the elders. Jackson quickly joined Lyra and their friends, Zane and Mia, heading toward the community center. Everyone felt tense, sensing something important had happened. Elder Eric stood in the center of the gathering, looking serious. "My friends, we have troubling news," he announced gravely. "A hostile alien faction has targeted Ziller. They aim to take control of our resources. We must prepare immediately to defend ourselves." The Solari people listened quietly, worry clear. On their faces, Jackson felt his heart beat faster. He looked at Lyra, whose eyes reflected her concern. Jackson stepped forward, determination in his voice. "I can help. I have experience with defensive technology. Let me help strengthen your defenses." Eric looked at Jackson, nodding appreciatively. "Your skills and bravery will be valuable too. U.S. Jackson, we accept your help." Immediately, preparations began. Jackson worked tirelessly alongside Zane and Mia, creating defensive barriers and repairing old defense systems. His knowledge and quick thinking were essential. He knew the safety of the Solari depended heavily on their efforts as they worked. Jackson felt a deep bond forming between himself and his Solari friends. They shared long hours, often working late into the night. Through challenges and exhaustion, their friendship grew stronger. Lyra, equally busy, spent her days organizing supplies and providing medical support. Despite the busy preparations, she always found time to check on Jackson, offering encouragement and comfort. Days passed quickly, and the defenses improved significantly. Jackson's expertise impressed everyone, further earning him respect and gratitude from the Solari. Then, without warning, the hostile aliens attacked. Alarm signals echoed throughout the settlement, causing immediate chaos. Jackson quickly rushed to his post, his heart pounding with adrenaline. Zane and Mia stood firmly by his side, ready to defend their home. The battle was fierce. Enemy ships descended rapidly, firing at the Solari settlement. Defensive barriers Jackson had built deflected many attacks, but the enemy pressed hard. Explosions and fires erupted around them, causing panic and confusion. Jackson worked quickly, repairing damaged systems and ensuring their defenses held firm. Smoke filled the air, and loud noises drowned out voices. Still, he stayed focused, knowing that failure meant destruction. Suddenly, Jackson saw Lyra in danger. She was helping injured Solari move to safety when a powerful explosion threw her to the ground. Without hesitation, Jackson ran to her side, shielding her from further harm. Debris fell around them, but Jackson protected her, ignoring his own. "Injuries! Jackson!" Lyra cried, worry filling her voice. "I'm here," Jackson reassured her. "Despite his pain, stay calm. I'll keep you safe." Lyra looked at him with tears in her eyes, grateful and frightened. Jackson felt a surge of determination, knowing he had to get her to safety. Zane and Mia quickly appeared, fighting bravely to cover their retreat. Together, they moved carefully through the chaos, ensuring Lyra and other injured Solari reached safety. Hours later, the battle finally ended. The hostile aliens retreated, realizing the Solari defenses were stronger than expected. Although exhausted and injured, Jackson felt relieved and proud. They had successfully protected their home. Lyra carefully treated Jackson's wounds, touched gentle and comforting. "You risked your life to save mine," she whispered softly. Jackson smiled weakly, looking into her eyes. "I couldn't lose you, Lyra. You're too important to me." Lyra gently held his hand, her eyes filled with affection. "You are brave and kind, Jackson. I am lucky to have you in my life." The community slowly began rebuilding and recovering from the attack. Everyone praised Jackson's bravery and skill, expressing deep gratitude for his actions. Elder Eric personally thanked Jackson, his voice filled with sincerity. "You saved many lives today, Jackson. You are truly one of us now." Jackson felt humbled, accepting the elders' gratitude respectfully. He knew the Solari people had become his family, and protecting them felt natural and right as days turned. Into weeks, Jackson's wounds healed and life gradually returned to normal. Yet the experience had changed him profoundly. He felt more connected to Lyra and the Solari people than ever before. One quiet evening, Lyra invited Jackson to walk with her by the lake, their special place. The sky shimmered with colors, reflecting softly on the water. The peaceful setting contrasted sharply with their recent challenges, making the moment feel especially precious. Lyra turned to Jackson, her voice gentle and heartfelt. "Jackson, Your courage and kindness amaze me every day. I have never met anyone like you." Jackson smiled softly, gently taking her hand. "You make me brave, Lyra. Your presence gives me strength." Lyra looked deeply into his eyes, her voice sincere. "We have faced much together, and every challenge only brings us closer. I cannot imagine my life without you." Jackson gently touched her face, his heart full of love and affection. "I feel the same, Lyra. Being with you makes everything better." Under the beautiful Zilla night sky, their bond grew stronger, their love clear and strong. Jackson knew they would face future challenges together, ready to protect each other and their community. Returning home that night, Jackson felt peace and happiness unlike any he had known before. Despite the battles they faced, Jackson felt incredibly fortunate. He had found a place where he truly belonged and, more importantly, someone who made his life complete. As he drifted to sleep, Jackson knew he was exactly where he was meant to be. Jackson found himself becoming a regular part of daily life among the Solari people. Each morning, he helped the community by repairing machines and tools, something he was very skilled at doing. He worked side by side with Zane and Mia, who quickly became close friends. They laughed and joked together while working, making each day pass quickly and happily. Lyra visited Jackson often. They spent time together exploring Zilla and learning from each other. Jackson taught Lyra about human customs, explaining Earth's traditions and history. In return, Lyra shared Solari legends and taught Jackson how to understand their beautiful language. Their friendship grew deeper with each passing day, each understanding the other better. One day, a special announcement was made by Elder Eric. The Solari planned a grand celebration to honor the bravery and unity of their community. It was a tradition to hold competitions where participants could display their skills and courage. Jackson felt nervous when Lyra encouraged him to take part. "You should participate," Lyra said with an encouraging smile. "Everyone would love to see your talents." Jackson hesitated, unsure of himself. "I don't know, Lyra. I'm not like the Solari. My skills are different." Lyra gently touched his arm, reassuring him. "Different is good. The Solari admire differences, especially when those differences are shown bravely." After thinking carefully, Jackson finally agreed. He chose to participate in a competition that tested problem-solving and technical skills, areas where he felt comfortable. The day of the celebration arrived, and the settlement buzzed with excitement. Colorful decorations adorned every corner, and joyful laughter echoed through the air. Jackson felt nervous yet determined as he approached the challenge area. Lyra stood close by, offering encouraging smiles. "You will do great," she whispered. Jackson took a deep breath and faced the task. The competition involved fixing a complicated machine designed by the Solari engineers. Participants had limited time to repair the machine and make it work correctly. The signal sounded. Jackson quickly went to work. He carefully examined the machine, identifying problems and thinking about solutions. His hands moved swiftly, using tools he had become familiar with during his time among the Solari. He felt calm and focused, forgetting his nervousness as he became absorbed in the task around him. Other participants worked quickly. Zane and Mia cheered him on, their voices strong and supportive. Lyra watched intently, her eyes filled with pride. Jackson's determination paid off. He repaired the machine skillfully, completing his task just before the time ran out. When he activated the device, it hummed smoothly, working perfectly. Cheers erupted from the crowd, and Jackson felt his face flush with happiness and relief. Elder Mira stepped forward, smiling warmly. "Jackson, your skill and determination have impressed us greatly. Your bravery in facing the challenge and your talent in solving it are qualities we deeply admire." The Solari people cheered loudly, applauding Jackson's accomplishment. He felt a deep sense of pride and acceptance. Lyra approached him, her smile radiant. "I knew you could do it," she said warmly, hugging him gently. Jackson felt a rush of joy at her support and affection. The rest of the celebration continued joyfully. Jackson and Lyra enjoyed dances, music, and stories shared by their community. Jackson felt more connected to the Solari than ever before. Late that evening, as festivities began to quiet down, Lyra and Jackson walked slowly together under the starlit sky. The gentle sounds of night creatures and soft rustling leaves surrounded them, creating a peaceful atmosphere. "Today was incredible," Jackson said quietly. "I never expected to feel so accepted and valued here." Lyra smiled softly, gently taking his hand. "Jackson, you have always been valued. It took bravery to show your skills openly, and that courage earned you respect." Jackson nodded, thoughtful. "I understand that now." They paused near a quiet pond, its surface reflecting the stars. "Beautifully." Lyra turned to Jackson, her eyes shining gently in the moonlight. "Jackson, there is something I want to tell you." Jackson felt his heart quicken slightly. "What is it?" Lyra took a deep breath, looking deeply into his eyes. "Spending time with. You have shown me how kindness and patience can overcome any differences. You have taught me many valuable lessons." Jackson smiled warmly. "You've taught me a lot too, Lyra. I never imagined I could feel so happy and connected to anyone again." Lyra stepped closer, her voice gentle and sincere. "Jackson, I realize that our bond has become something deeper. I feel it clearly, and it fills my heart with joy." Jackson felt a wave of warmth and happiness. "Lyra, I feel the same way. You mean so much to me." Their eyes met, understanding and affection passing silently between them. Slowly, Lyra reached up and gently touched Jackson's face, smiling softly. "I am glad fate brought us together." Jackson gently took her hand, holding it carefully. "Me too, Lyra. I can't imagine life without you now." They stood quietly together, enjoying the peaceful night and the warmth of their newfound love. Jackson felt incredibly lucky, knowing he had found someone special in Lyra. Together, they faced a future full of possibilities, supported by the friendship and acceptance of the Solari people. That night, Jackson returned home feeling peaceful and content. His heart was full of happiness, knowing he had finally found his place in the universe, beside someone who truly understood him. As he drifted off to sleep, Jackson felt a deep sense of gratitude, excited for all the days to come. The days after the ceremony were different for Jackson. Now when he walked through the Solari marketplace, people greeted him warmly, smiling and nodding as he passed by. Jackson felt like he belonged for the first time since his arrival on Zillar. Lyra often visited him, helping him learn more about her people's ways. One sunny afternoon, Lyra arrived at Jackson's small house. She looked excited, her eyes bright with anticipation. "Jackson," she said, smiling widely, "today I want to take you somewhere special." Curious, Jackson followed Lyra through winding paths that led away from the marketplace into the peaceful countryside. The landscape around them changed from busy streets to quiet fields filled with strange, beautiful plants he had never seen before. The gentle hum of nature was calming. "Where are we going?" Jackson asked, intrigued by their journey. Lyra looked at him mysteriously. "You'll see soon enough." Eventually, they reached a beautiful crystal blue lake, surrounded by trees that shimmered in vibrant colors. Jackson stared in wonder at the beauty surrounding him. Lyra gently took his hand, guiding him to sit beside her at the edge of the lake. "This is one of my favorite places," she explained. "It's where I come to think and feel at peace." Jackson smiled, feeling honored she had brought him here. "It's amazing," he said softly. Lyra looked at him seriously, her eyes deep and thoughtful. "Jackson, I wanted to bring you here to talk about something important." Jackson listened carefully, sensing the seriousness in her voice. "What is it?" Lyra took a deep breath. "You have become important to my people, Jackson. But more importantly, you have become important to me." Jackson felt his heartbeat quicken. "Lyra, you mean a lot to me too. You've helped me so much." Lyra smiled warmly. "Among the Solari, it is not common for outsiders to be accepted quickly, but you have shown bravery and honesty. You have shared your struggles openly, and we admire that." Jackson felt touched by her words. I didn't think I was brave. I felt lost. Lyra shook her head gently. Bravery is not about never feeling lost. It is about finding your way despite feeling afraid. Jackson nodded slowly, absorbing her wisdom. Thank you, Lyra. She smiled softly, her voice gentle. I want to invite you to another event. Tomorrow there will be a gathering at the Great Hall. It is important because the Solari elders will discuss the future of our settlement. You have earned their respect, and they would like you to be there. Jackson felt honored by the invitation. I'll be there, he promised. The next day, Jackson dressed carefully in clean clothes. He wanted to make a good impression. When he arrived at the Great Hall, Lyra greeted him warmly, her presence easing his nerves. Inside, Elders Eric and Mira welcomed Jackson kindly, making him feel comfortable. As the gathering began, the elders discussed important topics about the community's future. They spoke about security, resources, and relationships with other alien groups. Jackson listened closely, impressed by their wisdom and careful planning. Then Eric turned to Jackson. Jackson, you have shown courage and wisdom since you arrived. We value your opinion. What do you think about our plans? Jackson felt surprised and a little nervous, but he spoke honestly. Your plans sound good, he began carefully. But from my experience, communication with others can sometimes be difficult. Maybe we can improve our methods of communication to build stronger relationships. The elders nodded thoughtfully, appreciating Jackson's insight. Myra smiled warmly. Your suggestion is wise, Jackson. Thank you. After the meeting, Lyra found Jackson outside the hall. She looked proud and happy. You did very well, she praised warmly. Jackson felt relieved and pleased. I just spoke honestly, Lyra nodded, her eyes sparkling. And honesty is your strength. Come, let me introduce you to some friends. Lyra led Jackson to meet Zane and Mia, two warriors well respected among the Solari. They greeted Jackson warmly, praising his contributions to the community. We admire your courage, Mia said sincerely. Not many outsiders adjust as quickly as you have. Jackson felt deeply moved. Your kindness means a lot to me, he replied gratefully. The days that followed brought more interactions like this. Jackson became close friends with many Solari, finding happiness and purpose in their community. Yet, Lyra always held a special place in his heart. One evening, after sharing dinner together, Jackson walked Lyra home. The stars above Ziller glittered brightly, filling the night with quiet beauty. Lyra stopped, turning to face Jackson. These past weeks have been wonderful, she said softly. I am glad you are here with us. Jackson smiled gently. I am happier than I've ever been, he confessed. Lyra's eyes met his, filled with warmth. Jackson, you have taught me much as well. You showed me the strength of kindness and patience. Jackson felt his heart swell with happiness. You taught me about courage and acceptance. Lyra smiled gently, stepping closer to Jackson. I believe our paths crossed for a reason. We both needed to learn from each other. Jackson nodded, feeling deeply connected to her. I think you're right. They stood quietly under the stars, enjoying the peaceful moment together. Jackson felt his affection for Lyra growing stronger with each passing day. Her kindness, wisdom, and warmth had changed his life. Finally, Lyra spoke softly. We have a saying among the Solari. We believe everyone has someone who understands their heart, even across stars. I feel that with you. Jackson's breath caught in his throat. He gently took her hand, his eyes sincere. Lyra, I feel it too. They smiled warmly at each other, understanding passing silently between them. That night, Jackson walked home feeling incredibly hopeful. He knew life on Ziller would be filled with challenges, but with Lyra beside him, he felt ready to face anything. Jackson slept peacefully that night, dreaming of the future, confident that he had found his place among the Solari, and more importantly, in Lyra's heart. Jackson stood at the edge of the crowded marketplace, his face filled with frustration. He had been stranded on the strange planet Ziller for nearly 2 months. During that time, he had done everything he could to fit in. Yet, no matter how hard he tried, Jackson always felt out of place. Today, his loneliness boiled over, and he shouted loudly, "No one wants to marry me." His sudden outburst startled the nearby aliens. Their conversation stopped as they turned to stare at him with puzzled eyes. Jackson quickly felt his face grow. Hot with embarrassment, he lowered his gaze and sighed deeply. He wondered why he even bothered trying to explain himself anymore. Just as he was about to walk away, a gentle voice spoke softly from behind him. "Why would you think no one wants you?" It asked. Jackson turned quickly, surprised. Standing before him was an alien woman he had never seen before. Her name was Lyra, and she looked stunning, with shimmering purple skin and luminous, kind eyes. Her hair sparkled softly in the sunlight, adding to her graceful beauty. Jackson paused, unable to find his words at first. He had never met anyone quite like her. "I'm sorry," Jackson finally said, looking down at his worn boots. "It's just been tough. I've been here for a while, and I guess I got frustrated." Lyra smiled gently, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. "It is brave to share your feelings openly. My people, the Solari, value honesty and courage." Jackson felt a little better hearing her words. He glanced around and noticed the other aliens had returned to their activities, no longer paying him attention. The kindness in Lyra's voice helped him feel calm again. "I appreciate your kindness," Jackson said softly. "It's just been difficult to find anyone who understands me." Lyra nodded, her eyes filled with understanding. "Come walk with me," she invited gently. Jackson hesitated briefly, but her comforting presence made him feel safe, so he agreed. Together, they walked through the busy market. Lyra listened carefully as Jackson shared his story. He told her how he had accidentally ended up on Ziller when his ship crashed. He described how hard he had worked to adjust to the alien culture, and how he struggled to communicate clearly. Jackson spoke about his loneliness, which seemed to grow deeper with each passing day. Lyra listened quietly, nodding with sympathy. "You have been brave," she said after Jackson finished his story. "Not many outsiders adapt as you have." My people noticed this strength. Jackson was surprised by her words. "Really? It doesn't feel that way." Lyra smiled again, her eyes bright and reassuring. "I will show you. Tonight, there is an important ceremony. You should come. You might find that more Solari understand and accept you than you realize." Jackson was unsure, but Lyra's calm confidence encouraged him. "All right," he finally agreed. "I'll come." That evening, Jackson nervously walked to the center of the Solari settlement. Lanterns and colorful lights filled the space, making it seem magical. Solari people dressed in beautiful clothing moved gracefully around him, their laughter and warm conversations filling the air. Jackson felt nervous, unsure of what to expect. Lyra quickly found him, her bright presence comforting his anxious heart. "Relax," she whispered kindly, gently taking his hand. "They will like you as I do." The ceremony began with music and dances, unfamiliar yet beautiful to Jackson. He watched quietly, fascinated by the elegant movements of the Solari people. When Lyra stepped forward to introduce him, Jackson felt his heart pound with nervousness. Lyra spoke clearly, her voice strong and confident. "My friends," she began warmly, "this is Jackson, a human from a distant world. He has shown great bravery and honesty during his time with us. He openly shares his struggles, something we Solari deeply admire." The gathered Solari nodded approvingly. A tall alien elder stepped forward, his name Eric. He studied Jackson closely and then smiled kindly. "Honesty is strength," Eric said. Warmly, "Jackson, we welcome you." Others began approaching Jackson, introducing themselves warmly and shaking his hand gently. Jackson felt overwhelmed by the kindness and acceptance he received. He had not expected this at all. The rest of the night passed joyfully. Jackson danced, laughed, and shared stories with the Solari, finally feeling like he belonged somewhere. Lyra stayed close by, her eyes always finding his with encouragement and warmth. Late in the evening, Lyra walked Jackson back to his small home. "Did you enjoy yourself?" she asked gently. Jackson smiled brightly. "Yes, very much. I had no idea. Your people will be so welcoming." Lyra nodded, her eyes sparkling softly in the moonlight. "You see, Jackson, your honesty is your greatest strength. My people have already accepted you more than you realize." Jackson felt touched by her words. "Thank you, Lyra. I couldn't have faced this night without you." Lyra gently squeezed his hand, her touch warm and reassuring. "You never have to face things alone again." Jackson watched as she walked away into the night, feeling happier than he had in a long time. That night, for the first time since arriving on Ziller, Jackson felt hopeful. He was not alone anymore. With Lyra's friendship and the Solari people's acceptance, his heart finally began to heal.